We all knew that Donald Trump was full of it, but this is bad. All right, guys. So there was a new unit, as they're trying to put it, elite unit called Detachment 201. Now, this is a tech executive unit where they're allowing these tech executives, these four guys, to help with technology in the military, help speed up certain programs or certain, I guess, equipment and devices, and help speed a lot of this stuff along, which is supposed to help protect the American people. Nonsense. Anyway, all of this, guys, is bad because the stuff that these guys are implementing are to watch the American people or probably other people around the world as well. So it's probably a dual thing. And they're giving these people, these tech executives, access to everything within the military. Now, keep in mind, guys, these four guys or five have no military experience. They were never in the military, but they were sworn in June 13 of last year, 2025, and they were sworn into the position of lieutenant colonel. If I was anybody's colonel or general or hell, even a captain or lieutenant, I would be throwing one of the worst, I guess, fits in the history of the military. I would be up in arms. And I think a lot of generals were up in arms because a lot of them, coincidentally, in July, were reassigned and or relieved of their duties or left their position entirely, meaning they left the military. All of this stuff, guys, is absolutely dangerous when you're allowing people with no military background to then assume the role of a lieutenant colonel because you started a division called Detachment 201 that is ultimately going to be following Americans and their social media and everything they do. So they are, I guess, subsequently starting a social credit scoring system on steroids, except for they're not calling it that. And it's something similar to what China has, but at a military weaponized level, I guess. Now, there's something called a trust score. And a trust score, I think they're going to call it something different down the line. But right now, each individual household has a trust score. And this is something that they're working on. I don't know if it's activated now, something they're working on. But let's just say this thing is activated. And the trust score starts at 100. And I don't know what the number is, but let's just say 100. And everybody in the household adds to that trust score or takes away from that trust score. So the dumb things your kids might do or the dumb things you might do might lower your trust scores. The more things you guys do on the level or appeasing the government, it raises your trust score up. But it ranges and calculates everything you do. So there must be micro scoring involved in this because everything is involved. Everything from your behavior on social media, how often you post on social media, the likeliness of you getting pregnant or being able to have a kid, your behavioral issues, psych issues, medical problems, your fitness level, your fitness interest, your interest in life, your hobbies, you name it, they're scoring you on everything. If you make one off-colored comment, are they going to grade you on that? Probably not. But if you start something like this channel where I beat up the U.S. government, yes, my trust score is going to be in the toilet. If you do something like you might save a life because that's part of your job, that might add to your trust score. If you're a doctor and you save a life, that might add to your trust score. But your kids are smoking weed and posting it on Instagram, that might take away from your trust score. So all of this, guys, is what they're working on to control the American people. Now, they're going to control us through way of social media. Because look how everybody's on social media now doing all this other shit. Now, I am already under the assumption that I'm going to lose this channel and my social media in the future. So I'm not hanging on to this or white knuckling it that I have to hold on to it. If it goes, it goes. I have contingency plans. I'm not sitting here making this solely my thing. And granted, with businesses like photography, I might have to use social media to grow it. I'll think of another way. I'll do word of mouth or whatever it is, and then I'll retire and walk off into the sunset and call it even. I'm not worried about it. But the new generation behind me, or maybe two generations behind me, they're going to solely rely on social media and everything they do. So their trust score is going to be the utmost important thing. Now, the trust score, again, is related to households. Social credit scoring system, or whatever they're going to call it, is the individual person. So now you have all of this stuff controlling you because you're going to be on your P's and Q's. You're going to be your best person so that you can get the trust score of 100 for your household and whatever the high social credit scoring system is to keep you getting paid, to keep you living comfortably, to make sure that you can travel around without any restrictions, and make sure you can go into different zones without any restrictions. That's going to keep people aligned. But then they're going to be people like myself that just like, I'm going to stay restricted to my mountain house home. Done. I don't have to do anything else. If I know some people, they can get me certain things and I'll pay them however the fuck that payment system's going to work. And that's what I'm going to live. And I'm already coming up with contingency plans for this because I am not going to die on this hill of I have to have social media or else. I think AI is going to take us out long before we get to that point because the way AI is moving is definitely going to be the curveball or the black swan event that a lot of us didn't see coming. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, the Bible states this, the Bible states that. True. But the Bible, from my understanding, didn't state AI, though some people say that AI is a demon. I don't know. People also said the microwave is a demon, right? They call it it was called the science oven, but it was called the hell oven or the hell something or another. People thought that the microwave, and yes, it's a real thing. People thought the microwave was the devil's magic. I'm not making this shit up. I was like, really? And they go, yeah. Because they didn't understand the science behind it. They thought that it was just the devil's magic because there's no way you should be able to heat food up in that manner. I somewhat agreed with that, and that's why I don't use a microwave. Well, not because of that, because of the health implications with using a microwave. Again, different story. Point is, guys, is that this thing that happened here in the United States, Donald Trump allowed it. Donald Trump allowed tech executives to be sworn in at a lieutenant colonel status. That is, guys, by far one of the most treasonous things you can ever do to this country. You're just taking, you were campaigning on draining the swamp, but you drained the swamp water to put in your swamp water. It ain't any cleaner, man. It's just the same. And then you replaced all of the, you didn't replace a lot of people. You replaced some corruption with more corruption. And then try to sit there and make it look like it was a good idea. And then you have these people now in charge of telling us how to act and what to do and how to build out trust scores. You're talking about the stable coin now. Now they're moving full steam ahead with that bullshit. That's going to be a shit show when that unfolds. Trying to get rid of cash very slowly, telling us they're not making pennies anymore. Next, I think, is either nickels or dime, and then it's going to be quarters. Then it's going to be no coins. Then they're going to work on a dollar bill. And it's coming. It's just a matter of when. Now, if we start pushing back, which they are distracting us from pushing back, but all this bullshit that's going on, the Iranian war, Trump getting shot at, you name it, they're trying to keep us, I guess, off tilt so that we don't stand up right, we don't start noticing what's going on, we don't notice that the money's going to start disappearing, physical money's going to start disappearing, or the fiat money, if you will, and then we're going to have this digital coin that they're going to completely make up and put us into that system. Now, I said again, I said it before, I will say it again, something catastrophic has to happen to push us in that direction. That's the bad part. And the bad part is whatever that catastrophe is, it's going to be shocking, bad, and like I said before, scare the world. But when they come out with this hope called stablecoin and this system that they want you to join into, you are undoubtedly going to join that system because you're going to be caught off guard. Now, for those of us that see this shit coming, we're not going to be caught off guard. And when it happens, we're going to be like, there it is. And we're going to be ready to rock and roll and stay within our world and stay within our means. Everybody else, they're going to falter. They're going to look for hope. They're going to look for a promise like the COVID arm ticket. They promised you it was going to end. They promised you it was going to make the world better. It was going to cure the problem. And what did people do? They got suckered into it. They ran and said, put it in my arm. Now look what's happening to the people who ran and got it into their arm or into their bodies. Things are happening to them. They're dying. Cancers, you name it, bad things are happening because they suckered you into believing in hope that they were giving you. They gave you hope with that arm ticket. They're going to give you hope with this new financial system that they're going to implement. Anyway, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.